Hey guys, today I'll be showcasing how you guys can make collage animation in After Effects and showing you various techniques that you can implement in your own work, but this will be the rough guideline on and various techniques to do collage animation. So first things first, I will have a asset pack for you guys to download. It should come with about 3 things, and all I want you guys to do is import and drag that in. And then we're going to start off with the hand, so I'm going to go and double click it and make a new composition for it essentially. And now we have the hand, and then we can start going. After that, I want you guys to click on this one, which is the puppet position pin tool, and I want you guys to put a pin on every single finger, so something similar to this, excluding the thumb for now. Next, as you can see on the if we go underneath the effects, if you don't have this panel up, you can press E or this drop down to show it. And on the puppet, you should have another drop down called mesh, and these I don't know, it's actually on the mesh in D forms, so you have to go pretty deep, and then you have to open up each pin. We have 4 pins, as you can see, and if we click on each one, you can see that they've all created a position keyframe. And what we want to do is actually just highlight all of the positions, copy them we want to copy them, and then we want to drag it out a few frames. This is actually really short, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit, hopefully, if I can. Maybe my composition setting is not the best, so I can just change the composition. Yeah, it's only 1 second long, so I'm just going to change this to 5 seconds. Maybe your one will be defaulted onto 5 seconds, so you don't have to worry about this, but this is yeah, it's a little bit too small for me. And then so I'm gonna go and maybe copy those keyframes to where it says 12 frames. You don't have to copy the exact same timing. You can, as long as you know how to change them up later, it's all good. And then afterwards, I want to after that, I want to move this puppet tin so that it opens up the hand a little bit. So only this one. So if I were to move that one, hopefully it might work. 1 second. So the problem I had earlier was I didn't deselect all of them, so make sure, because we have it all highlighted, make sure we deselect, click anywhere, and then now if we move this pin, we can make this kind of where it opens and grabs the kind of, it opens up the hand and grabs it whilst the others are pinned properly. So we only want it to be a little bit like so it looks something like that. We probably need to change the duration of this PNG because we extended it. If you did the same, please do. And then we want to go and copy this the start of this frame and paste it on so it closes. And afterwards, we want to go to keyframe assistance, easy ease. The hotkey for that is F9, and these will give it hourglass, and now it opens and closes real smoothly. Now, if you're not happy with the animation still, you can hold Alt and drag in and out to keep the increments between each keyframe the same, but we can stretch them or make them shorter or longer, essentially. So now we have like a fast way of doing it really fast. Once you're happy with that, we can even go further with this by essentially going into the graph editor. So let's go into the graph editor over here, and we can start doing some graphy stuff for that position pin. So just a quick overview of the graph editor. To edit the speed, we need to go down to this little option so we can actually go and edit graphs. This is just where if we ever need to see stuff, this will tell us where we actually need to edit the speed. The value graph is where the position is going to go. The speed is like how quick it's going to do its thing. So what we want to do is change. You can just change it to how I made it, or you can change it to whatever speed that you would like as well, but this is how you would go and change the speed, and this is where you would go and change what value you're editing. Make sure this value is the position, so like what actually how far it's going and how long, and then this one edits the speed in which that thing is doing it in, basically. So essentially what I want to do is make these I don't want to select both of them. I want to just select this one, make this one huge, make this one huge, and then push this one to the side. Oop. And push this one really high up, so it kind of looks like this. So it has a really snappy snappy kind of pinch. And then once you're done, you want to go ahead and move this guy further out so that it closes a little bit. It takes a little bit long time to close, but maybe that's a little bit too far, so I might stretch it down a little bit. So something similar to this. Select all of it. Ooh. Hold Alt. Or just manually place it like so. Something like that, I'd say. That feels really nice. And let's move. After that, let's work on the car. Once you're happy, let's make a new composition. Call this Kia. And I'm going to go drag in this Wyvern profile vintage. That does not break it down in all the pieces. So let me see how I can go about breaking this up. If it doesn't work, we might have to re-import this guy in a way that it does read it. Let's see, that just doesn't do it. Let's just quickly re-import this. So if I were to just delete this guy and go back into the assets folder and get this guy in, I can go into compositions and retain editable layer styles, and we should be able to double click on this guy, and that guy should have all of its layers in. So if any time you have problems going to order all of its files, all of its layers broken down earlier, you can just re-import it, making sure that you have enabled it in composition. So after that, you want to turn off the visibility of all of these guys. So let me just do it in a way so it makes a little bit more sense, like so. So we want to turn on only the car wheels, and what we need to do is if we were to rotate this guy now, for example, it will rotate around the middle. That's not what we want. So we want to go and press Y for the hotkey, or this pan behind anchor tool, and just we want to reposition where the anchor point is to the center, roughly the center of the car, and the other one too. Let me just get rid of it like so, and then put this in the center of the car. Nice. Okay, once you've done that, make sure you open up these two rotation values by pressing R, and then I want to keyframe these guys, and I want to copy and paste the keyframes to about 1 second, like 1 second, and then at the end of the 5 seconds, I want to rotate these guys the correct way, which will be the minus direction a few times. You can tell that you're doing it by the number at the first. So this is how many revolutions you're going and the degree that you're going. So I want it to probably do like 7 times, maybe, like something roughly like that. And then afterwards, I'm gonna go and select all of these guys. So Control A. I'm gonna go select them like so, and then press F9, which will allow me to tang them into hourglass, and this will give me a nice ease in and ease out kind of motion, like so. And then we want to go into the graph editor to do a little bit more work as well. We want to have a slow start and a fast thing, fast duration. So what we want to do is highlight all of these guys, go to the graph editor, and we can see it here. Let's just make sure that it's on the speed value that we want, and we want it to be let's do it one at a time, or actually maybe we can do it both at a time. We highlight both of them like so. We can go like that, and then change this one to be longer this way. Make sure I don't influence anything else. Okay, I think I clicked a lot. So let's just Control Z that a little bit so that we don't mess it up a little bit, I'd say. So something like this. Want to make sure you once I get the correct shape, I will I'll show you guys. 1 second. So one is similar to this, where it's really fast at the beginning, and then you want it to kind of ease out a little bit. Once you're happy with your timing of your wheels, we just need to now we need to get the whole rest of the body back in. So what we want to do here is we want to make a null object. So layer new object, null object. We want to rename things rename things. That's not how you rename things. You press enter to car null. And then I'm going to go parent the car and the body to that null. So for example, if I were to rotate this, it would rotate it. But before that, we need to change the anchor point to about the center of this guy so that it rotates around the right position. And then afterwards, we want to go and keyframe this guy. So we want to press R, we want to keyframe, and then around 12 seconds, we want to reference actually the car wheel. So let's just open up this to see where they're rotating at. So we want to press, we want to copy and paste this frame over to this here, and then we want it to a few frames above it. We want to rotate this frame a little bit forward, so like maybe like 2 frames upwards, so it looks like it's starting up. And then afterwards, we want it to go back to the original position, like so. And then we want to highlight all of these guys and remember to easy ease them. And then afterwards, we can see what it's going to look like. And once we're happy with that, we want to essentially just change the position of these guys. So rearrange the position however we want. Ooh. Like so, maybe like that. So it eases. Maybe I like this one a little bit closer to here. So it has that kind of effect. Okay, we're happy with that. So what we need to do after that is I just want a little bit more space. So I'm going to just minimize that. And we want to drag in our hand composition that we have. We could do it in the hand composition, or we can actually just drag in we can just copy and paste this hand PSD. It's actually probably easier for us to copy and paste this hand PSD because it's got all of the animation and things separately, so we can edit it very efficiently. So let's just go and copy this straight into this thing so that it should open up like normal, like so. So let's close out the hand composition, make sure we get our hand layer with the animation in. If you were to put in the hand composition, it would be harder to edit later on, essentially. But we can now scale this, so it'll be T or O. I can't remember. Probably S. Yes, S. One of them. Ooh. My thing has kind of disappeared, but we can get it back. Press S, scale it down, and put it to the top right corner, like so, until you're happy with it. Oh, after that, I've kind of lost my screen. After that, what we want to do is pre-comp the rest of the car. So let's rename this one. So this one's this one. So I'm going to go and rename this to, if I can. Doesn't want to do it like that. It'll be animation. And then I'm going to go select everything, including the car comp. And I'm going to right click, pre-comp this, and name this car. So now we have the hand and car in the anim composition. And afterwards I want to go and position this so that it's at the top right, and we're going to drop the car onto the road essentially. After you're happy with the positioning, something like that, I want to go and make a dropping car effect. So I'm going to have a keyframe at the start, keyframe at the bottom, so where it drops, another keyframe here, and then one keyframe quickly underneath it, where the Y value has dropped down a little bit, like that. Possibly a little bit closer to each other. So it probably starts there. The drop starts there, so I need to change the animation a little bit. So something like that. Maybe like there. Maybe it drops a little bit too early. Speed's a little bit wrong, but I know it drops there, so what I need to do is have it drop and then ease them out, and then go into the graphics track to change the the speed. However, there is a quick way if you want. There is a plugin that I can show you guys that you can download. It's free. That really helps out with this. Go to this website called motiondesign.school. This is the motion paths. This just helps you put the anchor points, the speed, everything how you want. This is completely free. Everyone uses this. Yeah, it's just good. But I'll just keep this exercise as a standalone thing. But because it's just basically shortcuts. But you can get the use of handing. This is just one of the widgets toolbar things that you can get that are completely free for everyone. Back to this guy, I'm gonna just make this 100% over here. Ooh. As you can see, it is a little bit finicky. That's why people do use the hotkeys. So this should do it like so. After you're happy with all of that, we need to go back to the hand to do some masking, guys. So this masking is so because the hand is meant to be picked up, but you can see the fingers are in front of the car. So these two fingers need to be behind the car. So what we have to do here is mask out the hand. So what we do is select the hand and get to the pen tool. Make sure our hand is selected, and all we have to do is essentially just draw over a little like square for where the hand is. Our thing has disappeared, but what we have to do is invert it, and now our hand is gone. We can add a little bit of feather if we want, but now that is all good. And basically what we need to do now is kind of move the mask, animate the mask path so that it reappears once this car is dropped. As you can see, if we drop it, the fingers are gone. So that's not what we want. So we want to go to map path, and as soon as it drops, like around, probably it's actually kind of delayed a little bit. So I might want to I can see a little bit better now. Let's just change this position. Should drop around here. Okay, sweet. So around there is when we need to start moving the path here. So let's click on the path again, and let's just adjust it so that so we can see it a little bit more, like over there. And then we'll just go along the keyframes and adjust it like so. We might need a few more keyframes in between, just so that it doesn't catch anything like that. But as it's zoomed in, we can probably get away with a lot of things here, like adjusting it like this. If you want more position, we can put a new anchor point in, like so. This one needs a little bit more finesse as well. Actually messing it up a little bit too much. Something like that. And then let's see where that goes. Does that kind of do it? Let's just zoom out. If we can't see it zoomed out, we can't see it anywhere. Cool. That looks fine. Let's just turn it off just to see. That looks good enough to me, guys. After we're happy and we have something along the lines of this where it drops and it has a nice mask, we want to have the hand go in and out essentially. So what we want to do is make a new null layer. Call this hand pause. And I'm gonna go and parent these two things onto it. So but before that, I want to maybe anchor point it. Probably don't need to anchor point it, but it's a good habit to get into putting the anchor point in the roughly in the middle between these two guys. And I'm gonna go to the position hotkey of this man, and I'm gonna go drag it out before it drops. So around there. So this is the position where it needs to get to, and it needs to start somewhere around outside. Easy ease these guys. So it's like that, and it drops, and then I'm going to change the graph so it looks like the graph needs to look something like this, where it's sharp in the middle together. And then we want the hand to move out, but instead of, because this null layer is parented to both of these, we're just going to go to the position layer, the position of just the hand, and we want to move it out as soon as it drops. So once this starts dropping around here, we want to start moving it after it moves out, something like there. We want to copy and paste that so the location is set, and then we want it to kind of move out of place. I want it to move kind of diagonally upwards like so, I'm going to make it move that way. And then we've got to easy ease these two last frames, so F9 again, and then we're going to change the graph so that it really accelerates out of the position, out of there, so something like that. And let's take a look at it, and it should look like this. Okay, it's very, very nice, and that is the start of your little animation. To make this a little bit more convincing, we need, as you can see, when it drops, it kind of just lands straight. You need to do a little bit of a bounce to make it a little bit more convincing. I don't know if it's going to do this in real life because I've never seen the car drop, but in animation you'll definitely see this bounce. So what you want to do here is we want to double click on our car composition over here and go to the null object for the car, and then we want to go to P, and actually we want to go shift and press R as well to know where it's actually doing its animation at. So what we want to do is have the P keyframe, the P, and then we want to go to where we believe the drop is going to be, which will be probably at the 1 second mark here, and we want to just make it ever so slightly go downwards like so. Maybe that was even too much, and then at the end we want it to pop up again. We want to easy ease all of those ones. Easy ease. And then we want to actually drag these guys together so they're like really close to each other, and drag it so that once it lands, it goes up and down once it lands. So somewhere around here, I believe. Position it like so. It should be really quick. That little bounce should make it so that our animation looks really solid. I didn't even see it. But let's adjust it so that we can see it a bit better. So make it so it's more prevalent. Make it jump like maybe there. Let's take a look again. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see it. But yeah, keep on adjusting it so we can get that bounce in perfectly. Let me take some time and do. I ended up with something like that, which looks nice to me. Once we're happy, we want to go and make a little road for this guy. So what we want to do is go to this rectangle tool, make sure nothing is selected, change the color to whatever color you would like. I'm just going to change it to a kind of like light orangey color, and I will draw a road that is roughly around this size. After that, we want to check on the 3D icon, which is to make this a 3D guy, by checking on this checkbox right here in the same line. And then now on the transformation, we can actually change the Y, maybe not the Y, maybe the Z, not the Z, the X actually. And we can make it like so the plane is completely flat on the ground, or similar, so like -90. Maybe that'll be too flat. We want it to be like a little bit not too flat so we can see it, and then we want to move it downwards as well so that it's on the ground in that kind of shape. And then we want this guy to appear in a way when it's dropped on the ground. So once it's dropped, I would say around this position, this is where we want to drag and drop this bar, which will show the visibility. If we have it here, as you can see, we have our playhead over there, it's not there. But once it's here, it's there. We want to scale this guy, so we want to turn on the scale here. We want this one to appear as soon as this guy, just before this guy lands, so around, I'll say that position. So that is like the last frame that we want it. And then over here, we want this to be as small as possible. So we want to drag, we want to turn uniform thingy off and make it so that it's as small as it can be, hopefully. Maybe not. Or maybe we can hold this. Nope, it's one of these. There you go. We hold shift, make it really small so it's a line, and then as soon as that appears, let's keyframe that. Oops, I've kind of messed up a little bit. Let me just, because I had that frame highlighted, so I should move this across onto that position and then deselect that one, click on the shape and hold shift. So I get start editing, hold shift or control actually, in fact. So I get non-uniform and then make it so it's just barely visible, and now it should just come in place like that. After that, I'm going to go F9 to easy ease and then change the graph editor of it so that it looks like, so it looks 50-50, like so, like something like that. Cool. The next step is we need to drag and drop this paper tag, paper.jpg. I'm going to toggle switch modes. I already done this earlier, but I forgot to record. And you need to switch this to multiply, and then this will give us a paper texture on top of everything, as you can see over here. Next, we want to go we want to click on it and press P, Shift S, and Shift R to get all of the things. And what we want to do here is have a paper texture. So what we want to do here is essentially just give it 3 keyframes. So 1, 2, 3, and then we want to adjust the rotation, the position, and also and scale just randomly. and loop them out with an expression. So I'll do that quickly. Before we add the expression, we need to go and hover over them, right click, toggle hold, and then we want to alt click on this and type in loop out. It should kind of do it for us right here. I'm going to go copy paste this so it's a little bit quicker to do. This one, and it should apply. Actually, I think it just applied it for every single one. So let me just loop out again, and I think that's applied it for every single one. Let's just, nope, it has not. So let's just type it in quickly, loop out, and then last one, loop out. And then that should have done it. So now we have a paper texture on our thing that's looping out. That looks a little bit too fast, so we'll probably have to adjust it a little bit. After this position, I'm just going to do a little quick track matte so that it only affects this little area. Make sure you turn the color on, and now we have animated texture on the road, essentially. Next, I need to do a little bit of changing the settings out because I think we need this to be 10 seconds long, actually, just because of how we want to end and stop things. So I'm just going to go and extend these guys out if I can. If not, they are already they're a pre-comp, and you have to extend the pre-comp first, and then we can go ahead and do it. So that one I need to extend to the end. This one I need to extend to the end. And then once I've extended them out a little bit, I'm gonna animate the position of these, so they will, they will allow me to essentially be able to go across the screen. So let me do that. Once we've done that, find the position where it lands, which is at that position, and then I'm gonna copy that previous keyframe over, and then on the 5 second mark, I'm gonna drag this guy to the left, I believe, or actually, in fact, it might be better if I do it on this position. Actually, it goes down, so it's actually it's not the null position. It should be the position of the car itself, which should be, there's a lot of things I need to do a cleanup, so it's probably this position. Once you're happy with that, all I'm going to do is drag it to 5 seconds, extend this out a little bit, and then drag the position of this guy to the left, like so. And let's see what that looks like. It's probably too slow. So we probably need to adjust the times, the wheels, and everything involved. I might even just make this one a little bit quicker for now. Do it in 3 seconds instead. This should be roughly, I mean, it depends how you want it to go, but this is how I like the car moving. So I'm gonna move it like this. So after that, we need to put in the stop animation in this thing, as it kind of abruptly stops. So a few techniques that we can use to do that would be if we go into the car composite layer and we go into the rotation for both the front and back wheel, we can see where they stop rotating. Our thing actually stops rotating quite early on, so maybe I can push that to over here. And essentially what we want to do is overroll. So for example, all I have to do is animate this, so it's going to minus 252, and at the 4 second mark it's gonna go and it's going to stop. So all we have to do is overroll this, so 252, so this value has to be smaller than minus 252, so like maybe 270, and then afterwards it'll slowly roll back into place. That's all it needs for the wheels, and then after that we want to actually, the car body needs to kind of rotate into place as well. So once it's stopped, we want to have a keyframe for just before the 4-second mark, and afterwards we want it to bend downwards by just a little bit, so -2, and then we want it to bend back upwards a little bit at to negative, so it's like does a little bit of a something similar to that. Maybe that's a little bit too much, so we want to have secondary animation along with it, so maybe something like, maybe that's a bit too much, so drag this a bit further. Maybe drag this in, adjust it to how you feel it should kind of do it. But I think this should look fine for now. Take your time to that looks kind of weird. I'm gonna go and adjust this one so it's stops there, like so, and let's see what that looks like. I think this needs to go. I think this one might need to start a little bit earlier, like so. And this needs to end a little bit low. So it's something like that, where it stops, or maybe this needs to be like further in, and now it goes in and then out again, longer. However you feel like it should do it, like that. So it starts breaking and then slowly goes back in, or abruptly goes back up. So something similar to that, maybe. That was a bit too quick, so I'll just extend this a little bit, but yeah, just work around with. Next, the car is missing a little bit of shadow, so what we can do here is we have a shadow in here, and we can just put it just underneath the car and position it like so, just underneath. We can stretch it out a little bit, like so. And place it, after you place it in the correct position, so really easy, all we have to do is just kind of parent it along. And I'm going to just change the opacity just a little bit, just so it's not as sharp, and that should move along with the car. And that's it. The next step is we want the car to be taken off, not taken off, but like as we put the car back, we want also the car to be put back down. So we have a second hand for that. We're going to use that second hand. We're going to drag and drop that guy in just above the original hand position, and we're going to position that in a way so that it appears after 4 seconds when the car wheel stops, which is around the 4-second mark. So I'll start it here around there, and we want to put it in a position where the car we want to put it into a position where it looks like it's going to grab it. We want to go split the layer, so there's a few ways to do it. We can go to edit, I think layer, split layer, but the hotkey for this one, split layer, Control-Shift-D, we can press that, or we can just use the hotkey, and that will just split it into 2 little sections. First thing first, we want to have, we know where our end position needs to be, so that's there. So we're going to go into the P of this and put a position hotkey down. And then we're going to go to the beginning of this guy and just drag him off the screen. After that, as normal, we're going to ease these guys, so F9. And then we're going to go to the graph editor to kind of change the speed of the. So I'm going to make it go faster and over there, and that should get the hand in like so. Cool. So just like the first version of this, we're gonna go and make a mask for this. So I'm gonna go and make sure we select it on the right one. Make sure it's this one where it's only the bit where we drag the hand in. The next one is going to be used for something else, which I will go on to after we masked it. So first thing, we're going to put in the pen, get the pen and kind of get into the position that we want. So something like this, and then go down over here, go down here, and just take a little bit of time to do this so it looks good. That should do it. Make sure, remember to invert, and then afterwards we want to keyframe the mask's path. So that's the first frame that we started. Actually, that might be a bit too far. I might need to bend this a little bit. I need to probably put another one in here and then drag it somewhere. Actually, I might need to do this one again because it's a little bit weird, hard to see. I think it only goes up to there actually. And then let's go animate this. So path. So let's do the end frame of this. So we probably need to extend this one up, or actually create another one. Ooh. And we're just going to spend some time doing this, and I'll be back once I've done it. So here's the mask I got. After that, I'm just going to duplicate that mask which I did over to the other layer. Just going to say that this, and then I'm just going to rename this so we don't get confused. This is the drag out hand, drag out hand, and then I'm going to make a new null, and call this the drag out. And then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make it start there. I'm gonna parent that and the I kind of need to get I need to probably duplicate the car. So I'm gonna duplicate this car, Shift D, Control D, sorry. And then I'm gonna also make this car start there. Something like that, and then this is going to be rename this one to be well, it's just a car, but I'm going to parent that to the drag out, and then I'm going to have the position keyframes of the drag to be there, and I'm just going to drag it out by 5 seconds. So I'm going to go move this. I'm going to move this drag out of there. What I need to do also is to change the end frames of these this car so that it gets replaced by the other one. Same with the shadow as well, like so, and it gets dragged out, goes in, drags it out, and what we need to do is change the motion a little bit so it looks nicer. I'm gonna make it go this way and then this way, experiment with them, and then it just goes and drags it out. So what we need to do next is add the building, but the building I know for a fact is not the correct one, so we're going to re-upload it. So I'm going to go to the building PSD, just drag and drop it in, and get it so that it's in a composition like this, and we can drag and drop that one, that guy in like so, at the bottom, I believe. Yeah, and this will allow us to double click and change any of these buildings as we so choose, and edit them individually as well. So yeah. But back to the animation, this is what we have, and what we want to get is we wanted to place it into correct position. So to position it correctly, we just need to find where it finishes drop, which is where it spawns. So around that position, I want the full row to spawn first, so around there. So that's where the first spawn is, and then I'm gonna drag the buildings up. Might need to resize these guys a little bit, so gonna scale it down a little bit and just put it into the correct position like so, maybe a little bit bigger so they look huge. And then I'm gonna go and position them again, something like there. And then we want the starting position so that it's kind of like there. So it just kind of appears out of nowhere and it goes. It might be a little bit too small, so again I'm gonna go scale it, just position it. And then afterwards we want to do set our positions to the same position values as the car, so like so. So these two positions, just want to keyframe them. This one I want it to kind of move like really far over, probably even more, somewhere like over here, and that should emulate the thing. We want to ease these, so function F9, and then also because we also have different speeds for this, we just got to refer to how we did the speed for this. So it has it looks like this. So recreate that on your other graph, which will be a little bit harder said than done, but I think it looks like that. So let's go like that, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good, and that's basically it. So that's basically it. I'm going to show you a few extra techniques. If it works out, I'll try them out first, but I'll be back once I figured out the extra technique. Another technique that you can kind of create just to create that collage effect is this kind of outline effect. This is more of an automated way to do it, where I just essentially duplicated it and put a fill mask on and gave it a turbulent displacement, one small turbulent displacement and one bigger one. And that essentially allows it to kind of wiggle like as if it was a kind of cutout animation. You can also do this manually, where you make this wiggle and then you cut out a kind of a fill mask layer and put that in. However, I feel like it doesn't really end up doing much to the animation, but as you can see, this is kind of where you get to. And yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a few more techniques using After Effects, doing masks, using effects, how to animate, stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys next time.